Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to a Let's Build, and today we're building the Hive Tyrant. But not just any Hive Tyrant, we're building a winged Hive Tyrant. And not just any winged Hive Tyrant, we're going to use magnets to make the wings detachable to make it easier for storage. Well, there's the unboxing all done, nice and sped up so it didn't take too long. Let's get started. So, first things first, I'm clipping off the lower body. I used to use a knife, but now I use this clipper, which I got off Tinternet. A lot better to get the items off, a lot quicker and cleaner. Always recommend doing that. Well, there we go, there's all the parts of the lower body cut off. Next thing to do is clean them up. Now, there's 3 different levels of cleanup in my opinion. If you've got massive chunks still hanging on your bits, then possibly you need to see the doctor. But no, if you've got big parts of plastic on your model still, use the clippers to get those bits off, I reckon. And then if you've got any medium-sized parts, I use the knife to get those medium bits off. I wouldn't cut exactly the way I do. I cut towards my thumb, which is bad, so don't do that. And then the small bits, you can just use the file for and just get them nice and smooth to get rid of all the extra parts. Well, I guess it's time to put it all together then. So I'm using some glue here. The glue I'm using is a liquid poly. It's not the Games Workshop one. It's very, very similar to the Games Workshop one. But for around the same price, you get a pot that's 2 or 3 times bigger. So I bought that from my local hobby shop. Just putting the bits together, tail together, and then what we'll do is we'll pop it on the base. So there's the part that allows it to connect to the main body. Just adding that to the tail and holding down firmly. Needs a good press to get in place, and then we just need to fix it to the actual base. And there's a little flat bit where you just pop some glue down and stick it on. So I'm just deciding exactly which way to put it. And it's a round base. Doesn't really matter though, does it? But on it goes nonetheless. I think that will do quite nicely. Right then, so we're moving on to the upper body now. So again, using the clippers just to take out the various different parts. And there's quite a few different parts for this part of the body, but there we go, they're all cut out there. So time to get them all cleaned up. And once I've cleaned them up, what I'll do is, like I do with most parts, is that I'll put the 2 pieces next to each other and offer them up and see if they fit nicely together. Make sure that I have cleaned off all the different bits and bobs. Well, there it is. After I've cleaned it up, I've just glued it together there. Not sure where the footage went of me gluing that together, but I don't have it. So I moved on to the legs. Now, this is a strange part because if you look in the codex, it has 2 sets of scything talons to begin with, and then you can swap them out for various different things. One of the things you can add to the Hive Tyrant is wings, which we're going to add. However, the wings don't take up a scything talon slot, so the only logical explanation I can think of is the feet become scything talons when you've got wings. And if it gets grounded, I presume it just walks on its talons. So I've cleaned one of them up and glued it on. Here's the second one now, I'm putting it on. And these parts are keyed, so they fit in best in a certain direction, so that you get the right stance. If you want to put your model in a different pose, you need to cut off the little pegs or green stuff it on in some sort of manner. So that actually gets things stuck quite nicely there. So there's the bottom bit all done. Well, plenty of glue now on the round bit on the top here, because we're going to put the top piece on. And this piece can be swiveled around in various different directions, but I decided to keep it quite up and back and straight. And there it is. Well, the head wasn't too bad on this particular model. It is a little bit fiddly in some sense, because you've got a part of kind of like a tongue bit that you need to attach, and then once you've got the bottom section of the jaw all mounted together, which is quite fiddly in itself, you've then got to thread the tongue of the head through that part to get the lower jaw onto the head, which isn't too bad. But if you haven't cleaned the model up right, the tongue actually separates the lower jaw apart and you end up with a gap. So you have to just be careful with that. So I've cleaned this one up, and I'm just going to press it all together and hold it in place, and I've just popped it on there. So now the head's attached, it's time for the second set of scything talons. There's one that I've just put into place, and I've cut this one off, cleaned it up and gluing it in. Just a great big dollop of glue in the socket, and hold it in place for a while, and there we go. Now for the bit that I was dreading, the wings. Got to be careful when cutting the wings out here, because they've got little spiky bits that you don't really want to accidentally cut off. You want to keep those spiky bits on. So just being a little bit careful about exactly which bit I cut off. And for some reason we get a cut and then I do the other wing. So yeah, the wings I was dreading, because we're going to magnet them on so that I can store the model in a more compact fashion in my case, because at the moment if you put the wingspan on with the model, it takes up a lot of room in the case, and I think you can get it down probably about half the amount of space if you have them detachable. Well, first things first, because I've never done this before, I'm going to work out exactly where the wings are supposed to fit and have a look at where I might put magnets. So first of all, I hold it in without any glue and just have a look where I think it should go. And then what I do is I use my knife just to make a little hole on the end of the ball of the wing. And now you can see I've got a power driver here, and I've got 3.5, well, I think it's a 3.2mm drill bit. I'm very gently, very slowly boring on top of that little hole that I made, because we're going to bore a hole to put a magnet in. So I've gone so far, I've checked it, it looks okay, and we're going to go further again. So we're just slowly drilling out little bit by little bit, hardly pressing at all. Well, once the holes are drilled on the end of the wings, you need to just drill a little hole in the socket of the model. That's quite easy to do. And then it's time to start getting things ready for magnets. So I'm putting green stuff there into the hole on the wing. And now I'm going to change my blade, because that was liquid green stuff I was putting in the hole on the wing. But now I'm going to actually use actual green stuff to put in the hole of the socket, and that's because the model itself is hollow in the middle, so it needs something to actually support a little bit more strongly. So I'm just changed my blade there from a fairly new one to an old blade that I kept. I always keep old blades so I can work with green stuff, so I don't ruin a nice new sharp blade with green stuff. There we are, keep that away. And if you want to keep your green stuff fresh, keep it in the freezer. Lasts for years, I'm telling you. Okay, so mix that up and then chopping it off into little bits, and I'm just feeding it into the little hole that we drilled in the socket of the Hive Tyrant. And just filling it up, just passing the green stuff through the hole and filling up a bit of the cavity behind to give it some purchase, to give it some sort of grip in there. Now, if I thought about it before, I probably could have filled the middle of the model up before I actually built it, but hey ho. So here we go, I'm just clearing out the socket now, making sure there's no excess green stuff, and I've just plopped a magnet into the hole and I'm just pushing it in with the end of an old paintbrush. So now we've got a magnet in the hole with the green stuff. You can just about see it there, we'll have a closer look later. And then I popped a magnet in the corresponding part in the wing. So let's give it a try. Remember, this is the first time I've done it. So the magnet holds the wing onto a point, but it can't hold the weight entirely. As soon as I bring the model upright, the wing drops. So it needs more. So what I do is there's a little notch further down, just past the ball where it goes into the socket. So just below the ball there's a little notch, and we'll have a closer look later. And I just use my knife to make that notch even more pronounced. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a magnet in there as well. So you've got one magnet in the socket and one on the rim of the socket. So now I'm drilling the hole in the rim of the socket that corresponds to the notch on the wing. And this was quite difficult to do because there was no exact purchase point to make. But once I got started, it seemed I was able to drill through again. So filled them up with green stuff like I did before. So filled both the holes on the wings, filled the holes on the model. You can see I'm just getting a magnet here, making it sure it's the same polarity, but by putting it on the end of the ball there, and then I'm just putting the magnet and just pushing it into the green stuff in the little hole that I made on the notch further down that's going to go on the edge of the socket of the model. So here I am just checking the polarity again of this set by making sure it's right in the socket, and we'll do the other wing. These were the fiddliest bits, I think, of this entire model, and I also got green stuff everywhere. Not very experienced with green stuff, but there we go. So now we've got two magnets in the wing, and here you go, you can see the magnet in the socket and the magnet on the edge of the socket. A little close up there so you can see the two. And also have a quick look on the other side, and you can see a magnet in the socket and a magnet on the edge of the socket. And on the edge of the wing, so there's the magnet on the ball and the magnet just a little bit further down where that would touch the edge of the socket. Let's pop them together now. So this time we've got a total of 4 magnets, and just pop it in like that and it holds. Just make sure it's in completely. Yep. And it holds quite well. You can move the model around, you can even shake it a little bit as you're moving it around the board. The wing doesn't drop off. As you can see, you can pull it off quite nicely and put it in quite nicely, but you can move the model around okay. You have to really shake it to get the wing to drop off there. So that should be fine. And here it is, the completed model, the winged Hive Tyrant. I think it looks fantastic. I'm really looking forward to painting this one, so it'll probably be one I do quite soon. But I hope you've enjoyed me building this and put it together, and if you're thinking about doing magnets, I hope it's helped you a little bit. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I've been Master Hellish. This has been Building a Hive Tyrant. Goodbye.